AITA for pressing charges on a former friend for shaving my head in my sleep? For context, a relative of what used to be a close friend of mine, whom we'll call Gary for this story, contracted cancer. Mid-20s male. Was sympathetic and even contributed $100 to a donation pool for their treatment. But Gary came to me one day and took his hat off to reveal a freshly shaven head. He told me that everyone in his family were doing it in support of his relative. And so were a lot of our mutual friends. Then he asked that I get on the bandwagon. I told him I didn't want to shave my head because I like my hair. My hair is black, regularly combed and well styled. He said I could just get a wig or something and had actually brought his shaver kit. He was unboxing it when I told him this was not happening. I don't even really know his relative that he's doing this for. So I'm not doing it. End of discussion. He called me an $dollar hole and left angry. We didn't speak for a week. Then last Saturday I got invited to a party at another close friend's house. There I found out that Gary had tried the same thing on several other friends. And only a couple of them actually did shave their heads. Gary wasn't at the party. So I had a blast hanging out, playing video games and listening to rock music. But I had way too much to drink and couldn't drive home. So they said I could just sleep upstairs. I passed out on a bed and it was a blissful sleep till I was shaken awake by another friend who told me Gary had showed up late and they caught him shaving my head while I was passed out. I saw what I looked like in a mirror and wanted to scream like I was in a horror movie. Gary even shaved off one of my eyebrows. Gary was still there and acting proud of himself, saying, "Now you're gonna have to shave off the rest. Just like me. Lol." I was furious and called the cops. When they got there, Gary fully admitted to what he had done to me and even said he was justified. The police didn't seem to think so, as this is classified as a form of assault. They asked me if I wanted to press charges and the first words out of my mouth were, "Hell yes." Gary cussed me out while they took him away in cuffs. I tried getting my hair restyled into something presentable. But there was no saving it, and now I'm bald too. Now a bunch of Gary's family are telling me to drop the charges because Gary was off his meds and didn't mean to do it. I was like, WTF? Because I never knew he was on meds. But I still refused to drop the charges. It'll take months to grow my hair back the way it was. But all of the calls and messages from Gary's relatives are starting to get to me. Just about everyone else in our friend group has cut Gary out though and say that I'm doing the right thing by not dropping the charges. So now I'm divided. AITA for pressing charges on a former friend for shaving my head in my sleep? Edit. I want to make something clear here. So many people have said things like, "Dude, it's just hair." Quote. But would they all be saying that if I wasn't a man? What if I was some girl that had hair that took years to grow? Would they be saying the same thing? Sure, hair grows back. But it takes time. If it was something that grew back fast, people would be less inclined to care. But it's not fast, it takes months. And for some who had long hair, years. That's a lot of time wasted growing. And I don't plan on pushing for Gary to go to prison. But I don't plan to drop the charges either. His family already bailed him out. And while I didn't know he was on meds, I knew he had quite the temper. And even an entitled attitude at times. One example being a lunch where he wanted us all to combine the check and split it evenly. He got the most expensive thing on the menu. I got a cheeseburger. When we all said no, Gary went off on us for not being good friends. He's always been an ass when he doesn't get his way. And I've only known him for like 3 years. This incident was the last straw for not just me, but a lot of other mutual friends. As for the charges, I don't want to send Gary to prison. but I would like him to get some therapy and community service. With the way Gary has acted around me in the past, and what he did to me, I actually wonder how long before he got more violent. I've seen and heard of him getting in fights for less. NTA. The police called it assault because that's what it is. Block all his relatives. But save any messages you already have and report them for harassment. Do not feel bad about pressing charges either. He assaulted you and was proud of it. NTA. I am so over people shaving their heads for their friends and relatives who have cancer when the patient isn't even involved in it and often doesn't want them to. Absolutely. Press those charges. This will teach Gary to stay on his meds, and unfortunately losing most of his friends will hopefully cement that lesson. I'm sorry that happened to you. Press those charges. I'm going to say this as an extremely mentally ill person with 4 professionally diagnosed disorders. While your mental illness may be a reason for your actions, it will never be an excuse. Own up to your actions. Whether you were aware of them or not, what you did caused harm to someone. And that's something you need to take accountability for. If you murder someone but have a mental illness, you're still put in an asylum and not set free. That's because, while you need help, you also need to be held accountable. You pressing charges is the right move. Don't listen to their gaslighting. You need to stand up for yourself and make sure this friend doesn't do anything like that to anyone again. Hair is such an important thing. On a side note, everyone else in the comments is right. Make a full record of every single thing his relatives are saying. Tell each and every person that if they continue to message you, that you will report them for harassment. Follow through if they do. I don't think blocking them is a good idea. If you do that, then you won't be able to have proof if they actually do harass you, and so then you won't be able to nail those rude people lol. Anyways, I wish you luck. NTA. Contact the DA that is handling the case and let him know that his family is pressuring you to drop the charges. They may be violating the law too. If Gary hasn't learned to take his meds, a little time in jail will teach him that lesson. Edit. I didn't mean to suggest ya will help him. I believe facing negative consequences for his attunes versus getting out of them will help him. Dude, you are so NTA. Press charges against his family too for harassing you. NTA. Don't drop the charges. Not only did he assault you, but he did it while you were in a vulnerable position. Drunk and sleeping. That's disgusting, and he needs to learn that actions have consequences. It doesn't matter that he was off his meds, that's just an excuse. NTA. Tell the family you're gonna report them for harassment if they keep this up. And then follow through. NTA. What he did was assault. He's getting assault charges because of what he did. NTA. He committed a crime. He should face the consequence and be glad you aren't taking civil action. NTA. Do not drop the charges. That was assault, pure and simple. NTA. Do not under any circumstances drop charges. Also, if his family is texting or emailing, save all of it and show it to the police. They have to stop the harassment. NTA. In any way. I'm so sorry this happened to you. NTA. Assault is assault. Hopefully he learns his lesson. NTA. Being off meds may be a reason, but it's never an excuse, and that was definitely assault. In fact, if you haven't already told the police, make sure they know that Gary previously asked you to get on the bandwagon. Said he'd shave it for you while unpacking his equipment. You refused and he verbally assaulted you. He knew you didn't and wouldn't consent, but did it anyway while you were unconscious. Block Gary and his relatives from everything. Try not to get upset when you can't avoid a mirror. And hope your hair grows back better than before. NTA. Just, NTA. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Press the charges and don't look back. NTA. His family can present their case to the judge now. He meant to do it. He can now bear the consequences. NTA. Assault. Meds are no excuse. I'm so sorry about this. It definitely is assault and you should not drop the charges. Being off his meds is an explanation, not an excuse. Not to mention his cousin might not even want people shaving their heads. How does it help him at all? As a fundraiser or a young girl feeling self-conscious, it can be a lovely gesture. But usually it's just virtue signaling. NTA. Block the family. And try to feel confident in yourself till it grows back. NTA. That was completely unacceptable. If he was off his meds, his lawyer can bring that up as a mitigating factor. He'll probably only get community service. NTA. He assaulted you and is paying the price.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.